Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffee with James. I'm James, and this show you're watching on Instagram, YouTube, and hopefully BitChute down the road is my morning coffee show. And today, we're going to be talking about something I've been just wanting to say something. You know what I mean? And honestly, I want to talk about our current chaotic time. And I want to talk about the fact that what effect it has on me and everybody else around me. So I don't want to make this about myself, but then again, because we're unlike the celebrities who live in atop their ivory tower. We are all in this together, like legit. We are all in this together, legitly. So my thoughts on everything right about now, and a lot of people were like probably looking at my video going, oh, this guy's a racist, or he's just like angry for the sake of being angry, and it's like, oh, you don't care about Black Lives Matter, and it's like, you don't care about black people. It's like, no, I do care about black people. It's the problem I have with the movement of Black Lives Matter. I have a problem with, and to be honest with you, I understand it completely. You're tired of getting kicked around. I understand it, and people talk about, well, you've never been judged for the color of your skin. I have several times, several times. Everybody's been judged by the color of their skin, and I feel like I've been going on rants, and people have been watching this, being like, oh, you don't care about white people. Excuse me, you don't care about black people. It's like, or you don't care about white people, and it's like, I don't care for the ideologies of these groups. Like, to me, Black Lives Matter, and the white nationalists, the black nationalists, these people who are in their like white, put ethnicity here, supremacy groups, are obnoxious. That's how I view them, because I feel like, look, it's okay to be part of the black community. It's okay to be a part of the Irish community, Italian, Asian, Latino, I'm trying to think of what else, Spanish, whatever community you belong to, represent. When somebody's representing you properly, it's great. Everybody loves it, I mean, example, I'm going to use Irish because Boondock Saints is about two brothers, going to assassinate bad guys, and honestly, it's so endearing to watch, because it's not just about two brothers assassinating, bad guys. It's about two brothers just getting, coming together to do something good, and it's about the communication between those two. Or better yet, the last Irishman, excuse me, kill the Irishman, somebody who is not willing to go down, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, and again, nothing wrong with the black community. If you're black, be proud of it. You're black and proud. Be proud, all right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just so tired of this whole like race baiting and race war thing. I have a lot of friends. And again, it goes to Black Lives Matter, and it goes to like Klans, and it goes to like the Panthers. It goes to like all these groups that support an identity of supremacy, and it's kind of, that's what scares me the most. That's what scares me, because you're treating in one evil supremacist group for another, and it's like, look, I get it, you want that revenge, you want to push back, but that's not the way to do it, and to be honest with you, those Ku Klux Klan fucks, I'm sorry, but they became part of the Klan when when their life got absolutely dog shit. They are in that because of anger and rage, and they follow that ideology because it's because of that anger and rage. They feel put down. They're not angry. Like, here's an example: David Darrell. I want everybody to look up David Darrell, and I want you to look up the Joe Rogan David Darrell interview, because he talks about this perfectly. Say you've worked in a small mining town, or a community that has like a factory or foundry or some kind of place that everybody goes to work, and it has jobs, and it's bringing in money. Then one day, the owner of that company, the owner of that industry, whatever it is, decides he's going to hire, and I'm gonna flip the script here. He hires, it's a black community too, so a black foundry, mostly black people working in there. And then this guy hires white people, and Latino people, and Asian people, and all of these black people are losing their jobs, and they're angry, they're pissed. It's like, why am I not worth anything? Why am I not worth anything? And then all of a sudden, this guy comes along saying, it's not you, it's this black, these guys are, they're replacing the black man and all this shit and all that. Now, replace that with white, like, say for instance, he said white, he used white people in a mining town. But replace that with anything, like, imagine you're working and they're replaced with another, like, group of people, like, and all of a sudden this group of, like, this individual and his, like, ideology and his group come along and are like, hey, it's the suppression of the so-and-so race, and that's where I'm getting at here. People become racist when shit just, they feel like they've been left out, and they, like, they follow these ideologies, or, like, look at the world around them, and it's like, why can't I get a job? But because I'm not black, or this. And then you look at the world and it's like, and people have been, like, pushed around, like, by certain individuals who are of a different skin color and stuff like that, and all this, and they feel like they've been let down. And I feel like they're not looking at the major problem, and they're using race to, like, kind of provoke your fire and misguide your anger. Like, and I mean that for everybody, including, like, not just like white people, but black people as well. Like, you feel let down. Like, how many times have you heard it's a white man's game? Let me ask you that. How many times have you heard it's a white man's game? If that's true, how come Will Smith is much more, he's successful? How come Denzel Washington is successful? Colin Powell is successful. Ben Carson. I'm trying to think who else. So many of these, like, successful black people that have been absolutely successful in their own businesses and stuff like that, And I'm gonna be honest, nobody, and I mean nobody, was ignoring the fact that police brutality everybody knows police brutality and abuse of power exists. None of you gave a shit when hairdressers were being arrested. What, because they were not black? We gave a shit when, and yes, there's people out there who don't give a shit because, this and this, I don't want to say the certain words because I feel like I might get racially profiled or something or another, but it's that mindset of, it's only like, but let's be honest, people started rioting when George Floyd died. Now, I want to be honest with you, like, when Candace Owens came out and said she didn't care about George Floyd or some, like, she gave her explanation. She was like, they turned him into a martyr, and, there's a lot of history between him and the cop, and there was amphetamines. Nobody's ignoring the fact that a man died. No one's ignoring the fact that a policeman basically overstepped his boundaries, and good cops, like, just stood by. Yes, I'm gonna include them as good cops because they didn't want to lose their job. If I was that cop, I'd be like, yo, get the fuck off him. I don't care if we have procedures, all right? We have guns, okay? We can tell him not to move, or we can, I don't know. I don't think we should. Excuse me, it shouldn't have been guns. It should have been the cop throwing the other cop off and being like, you stay there. And, like, this is what bugs me about this thing. It's like, you do realize that, there's also cops who are black too, right? There's also diverse cops, but, or there was cops that were killed that were black and nobody's putting the outrage out there. Like, and look, I get it. I'm not black. But I have been the other before. I have been, segregated. I have been alienated. I have been looked upon as the other. All right? High school can teach you a lot of things. And I know people are like, high school is like, no. Because if you look at high school, it is a torture chamber for people to, it's for those who are not popular. It's a lesson for life. And people will alienate you if you're different. They will make fun of you. They will taunt names at you. And it's true. It's honestly absolutely true. And, they treated me like, I was an inferior because I was in the special ed program. And let me tell you something. The special education program, I'm going to be honest with you, special is they destroy that word for me. Because special used to mean something unique and beautiful and charming and wonderful. Now, it means something else to me. And I use special not to describe anybody with Down syndrome or any nonsensical thing like that. No. Because, honestly, it's you're just kind of avoiding something you don't want to say. Oh, he's slow. He's mentally retarded. It's like you using the word special to cover up something bad. It's like, oh, he's, that hurts me. And especially like kids who don't have severe autism or severe, like, they only have like a problem reading and writing, or they have a problem understanding math because you change the rules with math. Core math was never, like, why is core math existing? Like, 3 plus 4, 2 plus 2 should equal 4, but then you do this whole thing. I mean, look up, like, the difference between core math and regular math. It is an absolute nightmare. A shit show, nightmare, and whatever you want to call it, but this is the problem too. And like I go after guys like Al Sharpton, Reverend, and Jesse Jackson because it's like those guys are like the David Dukes of like the black community. They're race baiters. They're people who, talk about, I don't care if they're white, burn the motherfucker down. They don't care. Like, they're like, and I know people are like, oh, how dare, like, no, take a look at the arguments against them. And I'm not talking about just from white people, but black people themselves. And I know people out there are just looking at this video now going, well, you don't know anything, white man. Well, I know what it's like to be angry. I know what that's a very human thing. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever. Being angry, because fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hatred. Hatred leads to suffering, and suffering leads to the dark side. And I've seen it happen so many times. I've been down that road. It's scary. It's absolutely scary. And people don't want to acknowledge that. People don't want to acknowledge their shadow. Oh, well, black people can't be racist. It's like, the hell they can't. I mean, they can be as racist as possible. I mean, I've worked, working in this line of work I do, you meet different people. And one time I was working in, I forget what it was. I think it was in West Philadelphia or Germantown, I think. It was in Philadelphia, and we were doing heating for this lady, and I was talking to this black lady, and she was like, yeah, my daughter's dating this, my niece is dating this, like, white dude, and all of this, and she goes, and she says to me, and I say it back, and I listen, I digest this, and, she's like, I don't like this whole mixing race shit. I don't like this whole, like, oh, we got, just to date a white person to get points, or dating a black person to get points, and it's like, why can't you, it's not just, and she wasn't mean or anything, she was kind of just saying, look, I don't understand it, like, it's okay, and that's the thing, though, it's like, and this is the thing, too, I'm not picky about skin color. I think, I like black women, I like white women, I love Asian women, I like women in general, alright? And I don't want to compare myself to Donald Trump, but I do like women. So compare me to Hugh Hefner, because I am wearing a blue robe. I just don't have the pipe with the bunny ears. But no, this is like, and that's just an example. I mean, I find all women beautiful, but the thing that kind of bugs me is the fact that people look at white people being inherently racist and evil, but like you don't look at the real things, that racism exists on all ends. It's like, you can say the whole thing about evil white people, or evil black people, or evil this, or evil that, but it really just comes down to hatred, like what I said before. Like, nobody comes into this world being racist. It has to be pushed. It's like, how do you develop a fear of a phobia of something? You have to have a traumatic event relating to that. You've been bit by a spider, you don't like spiders. The same thing with like racism. It's like, oh, black people still, they were hiring all black people. Black people stole your job. I'm angry at black people. It's like, or white people stole my job. I'm angry at white people. Or white people have been having all this power. It's like I said before, if I have white privilege, how come I'm still living in my parents' house? I've lived in an apartment before. I always come back here. You want to know why? Because, I'm not living in a good financial situation. It sucks. It sucks. And I work in a very hard line of work, and that is construction. And let me tell you something, Sonny Jim. Construction is not easy. Hard work, hard labor, extreme conditions of both heat and cold. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. It really isn't fun. And for those who think my job is easy, or I have it easy, or some kind of nonsensical way, I don't, okay? Can we not, keep doing this argument every time? I really hate it. I think it's one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard. I mean, I don't know. I keep trying to push what the real issue is. I do think racism in this country is a problem, but I don't think it's just from white people. I think we have this idea in our heads that this is, the problem is that racism on all ends, knowing what white people are all about, or what this group is all about, and it's like, you really don't know, what it's like to be white, or you really don't. I mean it, too. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk when I say this, but you really don't. You don't know what it's like to be white. What do you know? What do you know what it's like? You've seen it from TV, that we're just these milquetoast, sons of bitches going around going, ooh, my cranberry juice, or what's the fucking food product? Avocados. My avocados. Avocados, good sir, avocados are delicious. Alright? Good ma'am and good sir, avocados are king. Avocados are king. I'm going to repeat that myself, okay? Because they are. They are delicious food products, and I'm tired of people absolutely dunking on that. It's like, yo, have you ever tried an avocado? Avocados are king. So anyway, again, and now I'm sounding like a hypocrite, and I have social cognitive dissonance, because I just said, well, that's the thing now. It's hippie shit but then again, I don't mind me some avocado. I don't, and I'm also tired too. So I did my celebration, my 30 days, and let's just say now it's going to be another 30 days for a good old-fashioned cleansing. Maybe going for 60, but a lot of people be asking, why are you cleansing, James? Why are you not smoking? Why are you doing what you got to be doing? It's because, to tell you the truth, I had to just get rid of it. I had to get rid of my habit. I had to get rid of my very bad habits. Let me put it that way. I don't know. I think it's something I think everybody should do. It's, being distracted again. Because I'm Mystic. I'm playing in Mystic Gan. No, I'm being more calm about this. I'm using my pathos and stuff like that. And also I was frustrated because I don't have a lot of gym equipment, and that's another video for another day, but it's getting annoying. And I think, especially with this rioting and looting, and by the way, I want everybody to stop listening to CNN and just realize that most mainstream medias are basically just fear-mongering you about this whole pandemic, because honestly, yes, I do think there is a real threat going on, but I don't think it's I don't think it's a real I don't think the virus is majorly the worst thing to happen. I don't think it's a real major league threat as the media is making it out to be. Because I do believe in what Elon Musk is saying, and he's kind of on point about this because he's not really like he's looking at this as like a scientist or a problem solver, because he's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, and I know people out there, it's like, well, we can't just open up and people might die, and it's like, you know what, I don't want to sound like a jerk when I say this, but I think we should just let nature take its course. I mean, granted, like, I've been hearing stories, and I know people out there, well, it's like, I can disprove that and all this shit, but it's like, I'm not talking about disproving anything. I'm talking about from what I've heard, and that is, apparently, and I mean this too, apparently, all those hospitals preparing for COVID and all those deaths and all this and all that are false information. Like, the hospitals are not jam-packed. And I mean that too, because a lot of paid doctors are doing TikTok videos and stuff like that. I might just need a little half a cup. I know I'm trying to cut down. It stains your teeth. I gotta pee too, so I gotta finish this up. You know, the same thing with like the deaths. A lot of people, like, there's been reports coming out that the deaths are actually being calculated from other things. Like, they're saying they're calling it COVID, but the truth is that, you know, and I got in trouble for being yelled at about this. You know, somebody was like, well, why don't you go to medical school and study this? And it's like, why is it always having to go to a school? Why can't you just go to the library, get the books and information, find biology books, and just study viruses? It's like, academia now pisses me off. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go find me some books and do this and do the studying. I studied, you know, fitness, and that's not, you don't have to go to school for that. There's a lot of things you don't have to study for anymore. Like, the idea of education nowadays has kind of changed. I mean, you don't have to go to a school. The only reason you have to go to a school is to get a certification saying, I know this. And most of the people who get, you know, those diplomas and shit like that are dumb as well. Like, and granted, if you've got your diploma, good, but that doesn't mean you're stupid. All right. Some of it, like, and this is like my issue too with schools in general, is the fact that they just want to teach you how to do, like, there's no like real education there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real, like, engaging in the information. You're just like you're just kind of regurgitating most of the shit too. It's like, you know, any different points of view, like, trust me, I've been through that system before. And honestly, film school, Temple's film program, like, the only two film programs that I think were fucking amazing were Landmarks and Monco. Temple can go fuck itself. The only thing I learned from Temple was, you know, just to write a bunch of papers. That's it. And their film program is absolute dog shit. They don't want filmmakers. They don't want people making art anymore. They want critics to criticize and reduce things. Reducilism. I can't pronounce that word. You know, deconstruction. And I don't think it's in the good intention too. And plus, trust me, I can tell you the story of the day I almost the day I left. Well, let me just put it this way. I almost became anti-Semitic because of film school. That's all I'm gonna say, because that's a video for another day. I almost did. Half of you are now looking at me going, what the fuck? And trust me, film school is dog shit. Well, Temple's film program was dog shit. Monco, not so much. But, I'm gonna finish up by saying this, though. It's people just don't want to do the research because they're lazy. They don't want to look up the information about viruses. They don't want to look up the information about what's been going on, you know. And about that, you know, here's another one. I forgot about to mention this, too. The doctors who were calling this virus out. They were just like, yo, this is not as bad as people are making it out to be. And, you know, those two doctors, you know, several doctors came out and were saying, no, the COVID, you know, this is just a scaremongering tactic. COVID-19 is not as worse than the flu. It's actually, you know, not as bad. And they were censoring them because it doesn't fit their agenda. And you keep talking, well, that's crazy, dog. That's conspiracy theory land. So is the Russian, collusion. Okay? But the difference is that the Russian collusion thing was made up by the left and is a bigger hoax, a bigger false narrative than, reptilian lizard men living in the middle of the earth. But that's all I'm going to have to say about that, because I mean this too. Look up the research. I don't have all the information because I am just a man in his robe talking to you and doing a morning coffee show to just keep himself organized. Okay, I think I've talked long enough, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, love you, and bye-bye. And remember, I love you all, okay? I love you all. We do have a problem. We have many problems we need to discuss in this country, so take care, love you, and bye-bye. Peace.